Hey everybody, my name is Paul Esden Jr., aka Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. And we are streaming live here on a Sunday in three different places. Heavy on Jets, which of course you could join over 19,000 New York Jet fans. Hit the like button and make sure you hit follow as well for all our articles, memes, and all that fun jazz. Plus, we're streaming live on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/BoyGreen25. All New York Jets content all day, every day. So make sure you guys like the video and hit subscribe and join the family. And finally, we're streaming live on my Twitter account right now at BoyGreen25. First and foremost, of course, we've got to wish a happy Mother's Day to all our wonderful mothers out there in the world. So from my beautiful mother to, of course, and I got to give a special one here to start this live stream, my wonderful fiance celebrating her very first Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day to my fiance, and it's been a magical journey to celebrate kind of that first one. It means a little something extra. But all of you guys watching at home, again, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, happy Mother's Day to each and every one of your beautiful mothers who, by the way, none of us would be here without them. So make sure, if you haven't already, give the mama a call, give her a FaceTime call, see her in person, take her out to dinner if you will, and make sure you show that love and support. I wanted to hop here on a random Sunday just to kind of jump out here and chat it up. New York Jets rookie minicamp wrapped up today, so we could talk about some of those takeaways, talk about some predictions, some things, and your questions and comments, of course. Wherever you guys are watching, make sure you drop, again, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. I've noticed on Twitter, even if you leave a tweet, it doesn't quite show up, so make sure you hop over to YouTube. That guarantees that I can see your comment as well. And guys, you can always go to the super chat on YouTube, drop an emoji, drop a question, drop anything, and it will cut the line through all the questions we're going to get during today's live stream. You send a little tip and you jump to the top of the line. So let's say hello to a couple of the people that are popping in here on a Sunday. It's beautiful. And of course, I got to give a shout out. Braxton Berrios is good. Our friends over at ZachWilsonIsGood.com putting out all kinds of cool merch. So shout out to those guys as well for the merch. Let's go to JETS Mess. Howdy. How you doing here on a Sunday? We got Christian, Boy Green, my guy. Yes, sir. Let's roll. How we doing? Let's go. Jay-Z Jets fan. What up, Paul? Good to see you, my friend. And the same to you, brother. It's exciting times here in Jets land. I got to tell you, man. Whether it's the rookies that are coming in this week, and I know they're not doing a lot. They didn't do a lot on Friday, Saturday, Sunday as we kind of progressed our way through here. For rookie minicamp, our first taste of all these wonderful Jets rookies making their debuts this weekend. However, it's just cool to see him running and moving around, seeing Sauce Gardner, okay, and a little Garrett Wilson action, a little iron sharpen iron, wide receiver one, CB1. I mean, that's pretty cool. And really getting our full taste of all these wonderful rookies that the Jets selected in the 2022 NFL Draft. I also want to give an extra shout out to all those guys over the last couple of days who are putting their dreams on the line. And for those who don't know, on top of rookie minicamp, where you're getting all the Jets draft selections, a couple of the guys they signed as undrafted free agents, we also have a lot of what we call in the business long shots, where it's this opportunity to try to impress the Jet staff in a limited amount of time and prove yourself. Robert Saleh talked about a couple of those over the weekend about who has popped and who has stepped up to the plate. So huge love to all those guys who are making an impact, and several of them will be signed. So keep an eye out for that. The Jets will be announcing that here shortly about guys that impressed in those opportunities. And you go from tryout, no guarantees, to 90-man roster, to eventually making it to training camp. And then eventually that will be kind of whittled down all the way to the final 53. So shout out to all of those guys too. That's awesome. And that's a great dream to set up there as well. Let's get some other guys in here. Clifford, let's go. Yes, sir. Welcome to the show, my friend. Let's see. We got the TJC Realty Group, Realty Group, LLC. Ain't nothing like being a Jet. Wahoo. You bet, man. It's a lot of fun. And Christian, boy, Green, that draft was beautiful. And despite the fact we continue to kind of move away from it here, we enjoyed it kind of last week and all the build-up and all the prep. And by the way, again, shout out to you, the fans, for supporting the channel. All the subscribes, and if you haven't already, make sure you do that. Like the video on YouTube, hit subscribe down below. Cool New York Jets content. We have a lot of fun interviews that'll be coming up, so I hope you guys will be enjoying that. Our Meet the Fleet series, that playlist is out, where we're interviewing college football insiders from across the landscape to learn more about all these Jets draft picks. And I will tell you this, by the way, we got a couple of them set up. I will tell you, I'm going on a little mini trip. It's tomorrow after my radio show. I'll be heading down to Massachusetts. It's the baby tour. You know, Zach Wilson just went on his tour to meet with teammates and stuff. I'm going on the baby tour. Hey, here's my baby. So I'm showing it to different parts of the family that have not gotten that opportunity yet. So I just got to tell you that that'll be happening here. So a lot of the interviews I have saved up won't be dropping until the following week. I will still try to go on because obviously the schedule drops this week, and I can't wait for that. So I'm going to try to squirrel away, and we'll try to do a live stream later this week for that. So hopefully you guys are here and there. Hopefully, like I said, we can carve that out and make that happen. But to your point, Christian, I mean, the draft was goddamn beautiful. I just love it. It's fantastic. It's terrific. And I will tell you this. I'm glad that you brought this up, Christian. I don't think I've ever had a immediate takeaway on a player like the Jets draft insert guy, and I'll tell you who it is in a second, and then talk to people around the league and then see him speak to the media and kind of see a couple of clips for rookie minicamp and have such a quick change. And I'll tell you, that's Michael Clemons, the pass rusher out of Texas A&M, who, to be honest with you, when he was drafted, you know, to see an older player, again, he's going to be 25 by the time the season starts, have some off-the-field issues. Again, how serious or not serious those are up to all of you to interpret, but the weapon charge and things of that nature. And then he was in Texas, so again, the rules are different there than in other places. But nonetheless, you know, when you have some of these, you judge a book by its cover, which we're all kind of, you know, it's a part of everyone that we are. Like, it's impossible not to judge a book by its cover, so to speak, and have something like that happen where you just see a guy and you just make a judgment. And it's good to always learn more about these players. And to be honest with you, Christian, I don't think I've ever had a more stark, like I saw him initially, like I said, older player, off the field issues. And again, I have no problem double dipping at edge rusher, and I didn't. I actually advocated for it as we kind of worked our way through the draft. But I'll tell you this, guys, that I was kind of like, ugh, I wonder if that's going to work. I wonder if he makes the team, because pass rusher is pretty deep on that defensive line. But then I got to hear Robert Saleh talk about it. I got to hear Michael Clemons himself. And by the way, Michael Clemons is such an imposing dude. Like, obviously, he's got a great frame, incredibly long arms, so you can see the traits, obviously, immediately. But I got to tell you, man, when he's talking to you, it's just this super deep voice. There's an intensity there, like he will kill me on the football field kind of thing, but also a nice guy. And you can kind of see in some of the clips that the Jets have shared on social media that he's a fun guy. And man, I think he may be, we'll talk about this a little bit later in the show, but I think there could be this surprise factor with Michael Clemons. I think he's way better than any of us. Like I think most of us kind of wrote him off, just kind of said, we'll see what he is. Joe Douglas in the 4th round isn't great outside of Michael Carter. Like, look at all those 4th round dart throws from 2020. Cameron Clark retired. Again, that's kind of unfortunate. James Morgan not on the team. And then LaMichael Pirine, who his days look numbered on the team as well. So, to be honest with you, when I was looking at the 4th round, I'm like, let's just see kind of what happens here, Michael Clemons. But boy, I think he's going to be a surprise, man. I don't know. He seems like he's all business. Like I kind of mentioned it a couple days ago on a stream that, there's a primal nature to Michael Clemons. I think there certainly is from an intensity standpoint, but a business. Like, he's not here to play around. Like, he had a few jokes in the presser, but I think he's just like, I'm gonna kill you. I am going to just be brutal and physical on the football field. I think that will be infectious to the rest of the defensive line. So shout out to him. A huge first impression there. Let's go to YouTube. JZ Jet fan. How mean do you think our D-line will be? We have some studs. Let's stay healthy. Again, fingers crossed for health. I think that's a big thing for me, JZ, is that when you look at Robert Saleh and some of the guys he was able to bring in, Carl Lawson, who we never really got to see in full flower during the season, Quinnen Williams, obviously, and you go through the whole kind of rigmarole of who they have on the defensive line. To be honest with you, it's all health, baby. It is all health. Because I think Carl Lawson, I think he's a man on fire. And if he's a man on fire, then all of a sudden the offense got to go, oh, snap, we got to double team that guy. And then if you double team that guy, then Quinnen or Vinny Curry or Jermaine Johnson, Maine, who, as he likes to be called, he mentioned that in a Jet interview. So Jet fans out there, Maine is the nickname of choice for Double J. And so, again, I think we got a lot of studs, man. And let's see what Robert Saleh can cook with. Again, he picked some ingredients out that he never got to work with. Vinny Curry, blood clot, rare disorder. Nope. That chess piece off the board. Carl Lawson, his prize gem. Whoops, sorry. So he had to work with a lot of, damaged goods, so to speak, and we didn't really get to see what Robert Saleh would have been able to do from that standpoint. So you know what, to me, man, I think it's going to be nasty. And I think the pass rush is going to get there so quick that the corners, who in theory wouldn't have had to have been as good, because, if passers are getting there, in theory, you could have kind of lesser corners that can kind of cover up the gap there. But I got to tell you, man, you got Sauce, you got DJ Reed Jr., and I think maybe you could get some turnovers, man, make some things happen, get some things popping, locking, and dropping from that standpoint, which I think would be pretty good from there. But I think they're, again, health, of course, cross your fingers, is going to be the big thing here. And real quick on that, because Robert Saleh mentioned that this week, there's going to be a whole new offseason plan. As Robert Saleh said, he's quote-unquote scarred. And, of course, Robert Saleh, for those who don't know, was a part of the Jacksonville Jaguars staff that drafted and selected Dante Fowler Jr., number 3 overall. I think it was 7 years ago. I think it was the 2015 NFL draft, if memory serves correctly. And, again, he tears his ACL in the first play of rookie minicamp. And Saleh said he was, quote-unquote, scarred by that. And long story short, is that he's gonna loosen it up. These kids, all these rookies, Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson, Jermaine Johnson, all these guys, he says, hey, you know what? For the past bunch of months, they've been practicing for the combine, doing interviews, all this crap. They're not in peak physical shape yet. So he says, why would we just throw them out there and they could potentially get injured? Let's let them learn the mental reps and they'll play when it matters. And so, again, they've had so many injuries that actually, to me, I think it actually makes a ton of sense to really slow it up, and hopefully it translates. But again, health will be key there. Miguel, what up, boy? What's popping, baby? Welcome to the show. Let's go to Clifford here. Any nuggets on Herbig? Felt like Douglas is great at finding players like this. No question about it. Let's dive in a little bit on that. GVR gets cut in a corresponding move. So the Jets get Nate Herbig. He's a former offensive lineman of the Philadelphia Eagles. They cut him. And long story short, he's a versatile dude, a super young guy, 23 years old. And really, he has experience at both guard spots. And really, here's the simplest form to give you here, Clifford, and I'll give you some notes and nuggets on it. In the simplest of forms, first off, by signing him, claiming him off waivers, you inherit his contract, which is a 1 year deal for $2.4 million. So you have that. Secondly, the thing that I think, just to be blunt, because, again, you sign and claim him and you cut Greg Van Roten within the same breath, you get cheaper. Greg Van Roten was a $3.5 million charge for this season. You cut him, you saved the entirety of that contract, and then 2.4 for Nate Herbig. So you saved $1 million and $100,000, 1.1 million. Okay, so you save the money. Great. You get youthful. Nate Herbig is 23. Greg Van Roten is 32. Okay, so you save a decade. Good Lord, phenomenal. So you got cheaper, you got younger, and to be blunt, you got better, Clifford. You got better. Nate Herbig's PFF numbers, again, you can check it out on Heavy on Jets. Again, I am the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com, and I kind of talked about that in a recent article. His PFF numbers are just so much better than Greg Van Roten, to be blunt. So you got younger, you got cheaper, and guess what? You got better. I mean, a phenomenal combination, and I feel great about the interior offensive line depth for the New York Jets. So, a couple of nuggets here. He was a undrafted free agent in the 2019 class. Joe Douglas was still a member of the Philadelphia Eagles organization when that happened. So he was a part of getting that staff and that roster together for the Eagles. So shortly after the draft, Joe Douglas with the Eagles claimed him. And then remember, Mike McCagnon was fired after the draft. So Joe Douglas really wasn't hired until June. So he was a part of Nate Herbig, finding Nate Herbig originally. So there's an obvious connection there from that standpoint. Former offensive lineman. And here's a little nugget. This is from U Stadium, that Nate Herbig expected to clear waivers and not be claimed at all. And if that would have happened, Nate Herbig had already talked with the Jets and he planned on signing with them the next morning. Of course, they claim him anyway, so it ends up working out no matter what. So 100%, it seems like he is really great at this. Look at some of the waiver wire finds in his career. Quincy Williams certainly comes to mind. And then you can even obviously go even further beyond that with all kinds of interesting cats. There's a whole undrafted free agents, obviously. We've mentioned Bryce Huff, Javelin Guidry, and those kind of finds that you've had. But the waiver wire claims, Braxton Berrios is another one that he's found and has really made magic at. So 100%. So again, Herbig, young, cheap, and fantastic in terms of versatility. So I think he's going to fit right in. Great PFF grades, both in run blocking and pass blocking. Like I said, we could look at those advanced metrics from earlier, but I think it's a great find for the Jets. And I feel great about the interior offensive line depth. I will say this likely kills the LDT dream of Laurent Duvernay-Tardif returning to the Jets. I wouldn't rule it out completely because, of course, the Jets love depth. So don't rule that out completely, but it likely spells the end of the LDT dream, unless he just really wants to be here, and hopefully they're able to make that happen. On the Greg Van Roten thing, again, I don't normally like celebrating a guy losing his job because he's a man, he's got a wife, a family, so I don't like to just kind of dance on the grave, so to speak, but obviously, I mean, Greg Van Roten had played poorly. And my biggest beef, beyond the poor play, like the poor play was not great. I mean, Mekhi Becton blew out his leg because of the Greg Van Roten play where he gets bull rushed so bad that he kind of whips into him and Mekhi gets injured. So obviously beyond all that, which was obvious, the thing that I could never get past, to be blunt, is the GVR moment after a game where he's asked about, what kind of happened there? And he immediately said, hey, and I'm paraphrasing, Zach Wilson needs to get the ball out faster. This is the NFL. And then he said, we got to do a good job too. But I was always told in football and everything that when you point the finger at someone else, you're pointed back 4 fingers back at yourself. Long story short, you're always supposed to dive on the sword first. So if someone asks me that question, I say, we need to protect better, plain and simple. And if you're going to say the Zach Wilson thing, which some people kind of sided with GVR and said, well, it's true, he needs to get the ball out faster. Sure, but you don't say that to the media. Say that to the kid in the locker room. You do that as a team to kind of put him on blast in the press conference, despite what reporters and other people are saying. To me, I don't know. That's a douche move. Like, look out for your quarterback. The first thing out of your mouth should not be to point blame at somebody else. So that's kind of a quick GVR thing. There is a chance he could come back. Robert Saleh mentioned it this weekend. They would actually love to have him back, but they wanted to give him the opportunity to go seek a starting job elsewhere if he can find it. If not, he will be brought back on a cheaper deal. And again, as much as I just said all these things about his ratings and everything else, to have an experienced guard as your third backup, not bad. They're on the offensive line, so I wouldn't be opposed to it. But again, that's something that kind of rubbed me wrong. But great question there, Clifford. I'm glad we got to that. Mike Miller Sr. nailed the draft. Jets, Jets. He absolutely did. I love everything that they did, quite frankly. And even Michael Clemons I loved as well. Ronald Perry, smash that like button. Yeah, we know. Yes, sir. Make sure you do it. Hit the like button on YouTube. It makes a tremendous difference in the YouTube analytics world. So feel free. It kind of bumps up the channel. And like I said, make sure to subscribe as well, people, for New York Jets content all day, every day. We do live streams for those who are new to the channel or watching elsewhere on Twitter or Facebook. We do live streams like this, which is cool, and interact with the fans. And we do cool interviews. That's kind of my shtick, is interviewing really famous people and other people to give you guys kind of cool insight as well. Also, if you're on YouTube, make sure you super chat. That option is available to you on the YouTube. If you hit an emoji, and you could skip the line and make sure to guarantee you get your question answered, and you support the channel as well. Ronald, thanks for the shout out. JC Jet fans, stay safe and safe travels. Wish your wife a happy Mother's Day from Jets Nation. Will do. I'll let her know. She is doing a phenomenal job, and I mentioned it in a post today that, and maybe this is the same way for a lot of you, for me to be able to do what I do. Again, I do sports talk radio Monday through Friday. I do these live streams. I work for Heavy on Jets, so I'm writing articles, 3-4 Jets articles every day. When you factor all that together in the live streams, the podcast, the interview requests, where I go on other people's show, and I love doing that. And that's amazing. She, my fiance, is the constant at home all day, every day, taking care of the baby. And even right now, as I'm doing this live stream, I can hear the baby in the background. Like, she's doing God's work and taking care of the child. So thank you so much. And I love when you guys, ask or care about the personal. It means the world to me, and she said it before as well. Whenever she overhears it, she says it means the world to her. So 100%, a happy first Mother's Day to my beautiful fiance. Thank you, Jay-Z, for that. And safe travels. Fingers crossed, baby. We'll be going to Massachusetts, and then, like I said, it's kind of a tour. I'm going to be seeing the in-laws, the grandmas, this, that, this, and that. So I'm going to try to sneak away a couple of times, bang out an article, jump on a live stream. So hopefully we can make all that happen. But stay tuned, everybody. Stephen Angle, what's up, peeps? Welcome to the show. Clifford, 10 days late, and I'm still giddy over this draft. Again, I think that's the thing, quite frankly, that stands out the most, Clifford, to be honest with you, is the palatable energy that is in the air, that people are so optimistic. I mean, obviously, I've been sharing a lot of the videos on Twitter. Mel Kiper, Colin Cowherd, apparently. You got Chris Collinsworth and so many others that have sung the sweet praises of the New York Jets draft class, Todd McShay and so many others. It's just awesome to hear, and I will keep sharing them because you know what? That's what the offseason is about. It is embracing the hope and promise and all the things that we think he could be, quite frankly. So I try to be as optimistic as possible, and I'm giddy too, Clifford. I am excited. I think there's a lot to love. Let's go back to Christian here. The way that offense just changed overnight was sensational. And the defense, excuse my language, but JD and Robert Saleh, true big dick energy. Okay, Christian. All right. Saying that on our Heavy on Jets Facebook page. 100%, man. I mean, I mentioned it with the Nate Herbig thing as part of an article that Joe Douglas waved his magic waiver wire wand. There's a little alliteration for you to bring Nate Herbig in. But look at this team, man. Look at wide receiver. Here are the top three. Okay. You got Corey Davis, who is a fitting role as a number two, more so than a number one. You got Elijah Moore and Garrett Wilson. I mean, and Braxton Berrios off the bench. I mean, that's like one of the best four wide receivers the Jets have had since 2015, and maybe even further. I mean, 2015 was top heavy with Brandon Marshall and Eric Decker, but I mean, woo-wee. You look at those the tight ends is like, come on. It is literally like Cinderella scrubbing on the floor to being at the goddamn ball, baby. I mean, to go from Tyler Kroft, Robert, Ryan Griffin. I don't remember his name. It doesn't even matter anymore. And then you got CJ Uzomah, Tyler Conklin, and Jeremy Ruckert. Night and day. Night and day. It's terrific. Then the stable running backs, Michael Carter, Breece Hall. I mean, come on, baby. And Zonovan Knight, who I wrote a column about earlier today. I think he's a sneaky guy to watch out for, man. I think he could be a player and not only make the roster as the next undrafted free agent, I think he could be a stud with the Jets. So, remember, Paul said that on May 8th, baby. And if he sucks, don't remember this at all. But I think Bam is going to be pretty good for the Jets. Ronald Perry reminds me of Harrison from the Steelers. Remember him? Hell yeah. James Harrison was a freak with Pittsburgh. And again, he does. I will say, Ronald, I think that's a great pickup, is I think you do get a little bit of those vibes in the press conference. Again, he's just all business. James Harrison was a big jokey guy, at least in the press conference. Very intimidating, which Michael Clemons has that intimidating presence, which, again, I think is only great for the room, to be honest with you. And he brings nasty. And I think it's good to have like guys like I brought up Keelan Cole before, glue guy, goofing around guy, keeps the locker room kind of loose. And then also those business guys like, guys, let's go. It's good to have a complement of guys, different guys in the locker room. I think is super important. Back to Clifford here. Agree about Clemens 100%. I felt the same way. Then I saw the interview and I'm pumped. Again, it was a flip. Like he does that. The flip of the switch, right? Like the animal on the field and the nice guy off it. Again, a complete flip for me. But I will tell you guys, I already booked it. I'm going to be speaking to a Texas A&M insider. It's going to be one of the most interesting interviews I'm looking forward to. I have the Meet the Fleet series, which I talked about. It's on my playlist. Check it out. There's a couple episodes out. We got Jeremy Ruckert, Garrett Wilson, and Breece Hall. So basically, I'm talking to insiders around college football to learn more about every Jets draft pick. We've done 3 of the interviews. They're going to be in any order that I'm able to acquire the guests. And I've booked a couple. I've booked Sauce Gardner. I'm going to be speaking to a member of the Cincinnati Bearcats radio team. We have the Michael Clemons one, a Texas A&M insider, and we have the Jermaine Johnson one book. That'll be in basically 2 weeks. So keep an eye out for that. All that is coming. But the Michael Clemons one, I'm going to be honest, I think that's the one I'm looking forward to the most because as you get deeper in the draft, you know less and less about the people. So I'm just curious with my set of questions that I have ready to just try to find more about it. And that's what I think is a cool part about this series. Mike G on YouTube. Now we have a competent offensive line. Nice job. 100%. If you look at the starters, you got Mekhi Becton, George Fant, very solid at tackle if they're healthy. Guard, you have AVT, Lakin Tomlinson, best guard combination in football. Center, Connor McGovern is only going to play better having two really good guards next to him, so that's good. You go to depth, you got Nate Herbig, who can either cover either of the guard spots. Center is a little questionable, whether that's Dan Feeney or whoever the next center is stepping up. The only thing that's missing, and I'm being a little picky here, is a veteran swing tackle. You got Max Mitchell, who's another guy we have to do for the draft series, and he's okay, but unproven. I would like a nice veteran swing tackle, Morgan Moses-ish, whether that's Eric Fisher, whether that's Dwayne Brown, whoever that is out there. That's the next thing that I want for the Jets, is a veteran swing tackle just in case of injury, because you never know. But it's a super competent offensive line. Great job by Joe Douglas. No question about it. Let's go to Eddie De Jesus. If Greg Van Roten was a better lineman, he wouldn't have gotten manhandled, knocked into Beckman's knee ending a season. Again, as I brought up earlier. So he's got experience, which I think would be good on the bench. But yeah, that was brutal, man. Brutal. And again, just terrible. Dark Soldier crew, what's happening, baby? What's happening? By the way, speaking of, it's not Spider-Man, but later tonight I'm going to hop off the stream for Mother's Day, taking the old fiance and the baby to our first movie. We're going to check out Doctor Strange. So no spoiler alerts, people. No spoiler alerts in the comments, please. But checking out the Doctor Strange multiverse mad something. I don't know, but it looks cool. It looks cool. So I'm looking forward to that. So that should be nice. Let's go to Jacob here on the show. Hello, Paul Eston. How many wins would you think we will have this season? Well, here, Jacob, I love it. Let's get some predictions in. Now that the draft is in, free agency is in, you got a pretty good feel outside of health again, fingers crossed. I think this team is going to be competing for the 7th seed in the AFC playoff picture. I think they're gonna make the playoffs. Okay, I'm saying it. Jim Moore, me. Okay, playoffs. I think they end the drought, baby. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm in. I think they make the playoffs. And now, how many wins? To answer your question, if I look, and again, we'll redo this again for the schedule release in a couple days, which will be super fun. But thinking 9 wins. 9, 10 wins, somewhere in there. Again, a lot of people are going to hear this and go, Paul, you're a dummy. You're an idiot. But you know what? I'm cool. I'm optimistic. I love seeing it, and I can believe it. Maybe I could speak it into existence. That'd be pretty cool. So that's what I'm sticking with, Jacob. 9, 10 wins, hovering around there. Let's see. Let's go to Michael Palermo. Do you think Kevin Green's kid has a shot at making the team? Yeah, that is Gavin. For those who are curious, by the way, he is one of the tryout players that's coming in. I got to be honest. I saw his interview on the Jets YouTube channel. And what an electric kid. He had a few issues in his college career and had to go big fish, small pond down to a D2 school. But Gavin, man, he's electric, great energy, obviously, and prayers and love sent out to his father who left this world too early. But can he make the team? I think there's a chance. And make the team like a 90-man roster, which obviously is what he's trying out for. It's possible. We will see. Robert Saleh said several kids stood out, and it would be awesome to see it. Kevin Green, of course, a Hall of Fame player, but also a former Jets coach, for those who remember, in the last batch of years. So Gavin's got a chance. He's got a chance. We'll see if he was one of the ones that impressed. I was impressed with his press conference. I think he really addressed some of the issues from his college career and very open. Good kid, and obviously you can never have enough pass rushers. So hopefully, I hope so. Fingers crossed for the kid, Michael. Great question. And guys, I would highly recommend checking it out. He told some good stories about his father and kind of talked about his own journey and learning from his dad. Fingers crossed for him. I don't know. To be honest, I don't have any distinction one way or another how we feel. Again, it's hard to really... Because, again, a lot of what rookie minicamp is just kind of impressing in your small spurts of opportunity and really trying to take coaching. And they're going to give you something, and then you come back the next day. So, but he is a good kid, though. I really love the kid. Let's go to Mike G. Which UDFA will make the roster? One at least should make it. 100%. Seems like it every year. Like I said, Bryce Huff, Javelin Guidry, Isaiah Dunn was another one who ended up making it ultimately at the end of the day. I think the one is Zonovan Knight, to be honest with you. The running back, Bam, is his nickname. He got that nickname from his uncle because he used to bang his toddler toys together. So he called him, like Bam Bam, but just Bam. So Zonovan Bam Knight, a versatile player. You look at kind of the analytics from last year, didn't fumble, catches the ball out of the backfield, very nice, no drops. consistent player over the last 3 years, had at least 745 yards rushing each of those years. So a good receiver out of the backfield, has some special teams ability. I know we got an all-pro returner in Braxton Berrios, but nice to have some depth there. So I think he checks off all the boxes for me. Versatile. I think he brings a little bit of a power style to the backfield, which quite frankly they need. I know Breece Hall brings some Brutus beefcake, which is nice and complements Michael Carter very well. But having another guy in the backfield they could go to. You all know Mike LaFleur likes having guys that have varied skill sets in the background. My educated guess right now is Zonovan Knight. The other one to look out for is DQ, the linebacker out of Middle Tennessee State. Versatile player as well, had 20.5 sacks coming out of college, so he can be a little bit of a pass rusher, a little bit of a linebacker. The Jets gave him a sizable $130,000 guarantee. And so you don't throw that funny money around for no reason. So I think that's another thing as well to kind of keep in mind. Speaking of money, make sure you guys, again, if you're on YouTube, hit that super chat, emoji us up, send a question, and skip to the front of the line and support the channel to see more live streams and cool guests and all that stuff. And also, make sure you like the video. Hit subscribe. Come on, baby. Show that chutzpah, show that juice, show that pop, if you will. We'd really appreciate it, no matter where you're watching. Even if you're watching right now on Facebook, even if you're watching right now on Twitter, open up a new tab and hop over to YouTube, youtube.com/boygreen25. Again, information on the ticker. I love answering all your questions. Jinpak, we are live. You bet we are, baby. Yes, we are. Let's keep going here. Clifford, let's go back to you. I love our draft. All picks made sense. Not enough credit going to JD for putting us in a position to even make these picks. Can't believe the draft capital JD obtained for unwanted players. 100% you go to Chris Herndon, Sam Darnold. Jamal Adams was wanted, but unwanted. I get your point of being able to flip him. But nonetheless, and I love the selective aggressiveness. I brought this up before. And I just love, so you move up for Jermaine, you move up for Breece Hall, you move up when necessary. Not ridiculous, where you're giving up future first and future seconds, but being selectively aggressive. I absolutely loved it. He does not get enough credit. But ultimately, the credit you're searching for, Clifford, and fans are in general for old Joe Douglas. Wins, baby. They're 0-12. They being the New York Jets in the AFC East. I mean, come on, people. You can't be doing that if you want some credit. So he's got, the proof will be in the pudding, ultimately, from that standpoint. Let's go to Richie B, good regular here on the show on YouTube. DJ Bieneme was hyping up a couple older undrafted wide receivers in Jackson and Charles. Any one of them can make the team. They're already on the roster. That is Irvin Charles, a former Penn State guy. He is currently on the roster. He's one of 5 undrafted free agents. So he'll be on the 90-man roster, and that is going to be taken to training camp outside of something crazy. Him, breaking a team rule or doing something in the next couple of months. He's right now on the roster, Irvin Charles. Jackson's the one that's going to try to fight for a chance to make the team. But nonetheless, Irvin Charles certainly could. He brings some size to the table. All the talent's there, but he had a weird issue at Penn State where he got kicked off the team, didn't show up. Kind of was late to something. I had a Penn State insider tell me over the weekend. He was kind of walking me through what happened there. But super talented player, and obviously the Jets thought enough of him to sign him straight up as an undrafted free agent. He has a chance. Now, I was kind of going back and forth with people on social media about the quote-unquote lack of size in the wide receiving core because, again, the 2 biggest receivers on the roster of actual contributors, I'm not just talking about rookie minicamp guys or anything, are Corey Davis and Denzel Mims, who are both 6'3". I see we have a Denzel Mims question, so I'll get to that in a second. But those 2 guys are 6'3". So you don't really have the full Drake London, which is why so many people, I think, were kind of connecting Drake London to the Jets because they didn't have that 6'5", technically 6'4" and 7'8", but nonetheless, they didn't have that 6'5" guy on the roster. Or 6'3" and 7'8" rather, but you get the point. Is that they didn't have one of those on the roster, so I'm sure they would love that in a perfect world. So Irvin Charles certainly could make sense from that standpoint. And again, that takes us into this Denzel Mims question. Let's bring it up from Paul Christensen. What's the problem with Mims? Looks like a bust. Here's the problem, Paul, and I'm going to be honest with you. Great name, by the way. Your mother picked that out well. I love that on the Paul. But the point is this: with Denzel Mims, it looks questionable for me to have him make this roster. Here's why. Let's go through. You have Garrett Wilson. Okay, he's making the roster, obviously. Corey Davis, he's making the roster. Elijah Moore, he's making the roster. Braxton Berrios, he's making the roster. That's 4 wide receivers locked in no matter what. That's a top 4. So Denzel Mims' ceiling is wide receiver 5? Wide receiver 6? Okay, so let's put that aside. So that's his ceiling as a former second-round pick. And then you look at this. Take out the old, take a gander, okay? Look at the Pro Football Reference stats. Go to the analytics, okay? We look at that. You want to know how many special team snaps Denzel Mims has in 2 years? Let me count. 1, 2, 0. Nip, zip, and pip. Nothing. And quite frankly, normally for a wide receiver 5, 6, special teams is a prerequisite. Doing that and contributing to your team in other ways, if you're not contributing on the football field, is helping out in special teams. And unfortunately, Denzel Mims doesn't play special teams. So you're telling me that the Jets coaching staff would have to make an exception to make Mims a part of this team and say, oh, it's cool you can't do special teams because we love you so much. Well, if they loved him so much, why didn't he play last year? Weird. Again, there was COVID and not knowing the playbook and all that kind of stuff. That doesn't sound like the kind of player, if I'm the Jets, that they're willing to make an exception for, quite frankly. So, to be honest with you, there's been a lot of hype up about Denzel Mims. He's looked good. I'll tell you the videos, the people I've talked to, he looks good. He looks fantastic. And Joe Douglas has talked him up. And Robert Saleh has talked him up. And the fans are like, yeah, Mims time, baby. Mims stand. Stand up. Bring it on, Mims. But as excited as I am, and I shared a couple hype videos about him, and I hope he works out. I don't know, man. The path to a roster spot seems difficult. I think they're hyping him up because they're like, hey, come trade for him. I think that's what it says to me. But I could be misinterpreting the situation. Hopefully he makes it, but boy, it just seems like a difficult path, Paul, to be honest with you. So it does seem like bust city, and it's unfortunate because I thought he had a lot of talent. But it is not looking good. Not looking good. John Hepburn, what's up? Hey, fellers, what's happening? What's popping? Let's go to some predictions. We got a couple in here. Ronald Perry, 8. Okay, 8, 9, not bad. That'd be a significant improvement. And outside of them starting like 1-7 and doing that Adam Gase-ish kind of run, that would be good. That means they would be competing late in the year. Vic James, 10-6. There's 17 games, so I'll assume 11-6 or 10-7. Either way, that'd be great too. Let's go here. Boycott Activision. I would agree, but have you seen the opponents? Boycott, here's the thing. And a lot of people have brought this up, so I'm glad that you did. I'm not crapping on you. Okay, pal? We're all friends here in this space. We're all friends here in this YouTube. All right, pal? But I got to tell you this, and we're going to do this, obviously, in a couple of days when the schedule comes out. And we're going to go, oh, my God, how could they possibly beat this team, this team, this team, this team, this team? I'll tell you this, Boycott. Guess what? Things are going to happen. Injuries are going to happen. Teams that we project to be superstars are going to suck. Teams that we thought were going to suck are going to be good. So all kinds of things are going to, it's fluid, man. All kinds of things are going to move and groove from now here in May all the way to the friggin' start in the fall. And during the season, things are going to change. Like the Bengals, who thought the Bengals were good? And all of a sudden, boom, the Bengals are there. So you don't know. So, yes, it's going to look difficult. Yes, the schedule looks intense. But you know what? That's why they play the games. The Jets got to worry about themselves. They got to be healthy. They got to operate and go as Tony Richardson, the great Tony Richardson, who, by the way, will be joining us later this summer. Keep an eye out for that. Looking forward to that interview. But as Tony Richardson said, go 1-0 each week. That's all you can do. So, Boycott, you could be right. At the end of the day, maybe the Jets just stink. They just can't beat the real good teams on their schedule. But to me, I think a lot of these teams are going to beat each other up. I'll use an example. AFC West, right? How the heck are the Jets going to make the playoffs with Russell Wilson, Justin Herbig, Derek Carr, Patrick Mahomes all in the same division? Guess what? They're on the same division. They're all going to beat each other up. So while there's a lot of really good quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, and all these guys, so Josh Allen, like, again, I'm going to miss somebody by counting them out. And there's a lot of really talented guys. But you know what? You just got to either believe or you don't believe. That's it. That's the line. Black and white. You're either going to believe or not going to believe. Maybe some of you need to see Santa's fat ass come down that chimney before you believe, perhaps. And I would understand if you feel that way because you've been scarred and burned before as Jet fans. And the Jets, of course, haven't been to the playoffs in 11 gosh darn years. So I would understand if you want to wait before you start believing in old Santa Claus to see him hum and dum down that chimney. And you're like, oh, man, Santa, I believe in Christmas. Okay? I don't know. But we'll kind of see. Stephen Engel, floor 7 wins, ceiling 10 wins. Floor 7 wins, phenomenal, if that's the case. Ceiling 10, again, it would be hard to see them kind of blow the barn doors off. But Chris Collinsworth, for what it should be known on his PFF podcast, of course, Chris Collinsworth podcast, said the Jets could be the Bengals, the team that goes from worst to first. He didn't predict it, but he just brought it up and said, could the Jets be that team? And shoot, if they're that team, this is going to be fun. Talk about these live streams we're coming on. Wow, the Jets are 7-0 or whatever it is, right? Oh my God, the playoffs are possible. We haven't done that in a couple years, folks. A couple years. Could be a lot of fun. And thank you for the super chat, Red John, who will step up to be the leader on defense. And I want to give you guys a friendly reminder. You see this colored action here that's a little different than all the other comments. That's because Red John did what's called a super chat. You can support the channel. If you're on YouTube, it's available in the comment section. You can either send a question, you could send a topic, you can send a little emoji to just show you're supporting the channel, just like Red John did. So all of you, feel free to do that. Again, it makes a tremendous difference. So thank you so much, Red John. That's amazing. It shows me you guys care and love what you're seeing. You want to see even more. So I love it when you guys do this. Again, if you can afford it, I really appreciate it. So Red John, who will step up to be the leader on defense? I think you got CJ Mosley right off the get-go, who's going to be a leader for this team. It's hard for some of the new guys to immediately assume those leadership roles like Jordan Whitehead or, you know, some of the new guys like on the defensive line, Jermaine Johnson, even. It kind of takes some of those young bucks or new guys kind of a little bit to kind of ascend to that. But guys I would look for on the defense, CJ Mosley, of course, quiet leader. Guys respect him. You know, carries a big stick, quiet voice, kind of walks around or whatever that phrase is. I butchered that. Carl Lawson, I think, is another guy a lot of people respect, a lot of people look up to. You don't quite have that fully Fatukasi, which is maybe to the point of your question. He's not there anymore as that kind of glue guy. So who steps up into that void, I think, will be pretty interesting. But like I said, Carl Lawson makes sense. CJ Mosley makes sense. And I think, again, it's hard for new guys to immediately assume this, but I think the swag that old DJ Reed kind of walks around with is infectious. I think people are going to fall in love with that. Again, this massive chip on the shoulder, and that could kind of be the calling card for this Jets team who, again, the same old Jets moniker. Red John, again, thank you so much for the super chat. That's awesome. Let's keep rolling here. We got Warriors Spirit Boxing, 8-10 wins. Sweep the Pats and the Finns, split with the Bills. Wild card race. Oh, my God. If the Jets sweep the Patriots, which, by the way, folks, it is uglier than I thought. Bart Scott recently just said, like, man, the Jets roster is twice as good as the Patriots, which, by the way, I drank that and injected that straight into my veins. That's phenomenal. But ultimately, I mean, as much as I may want to believe that, it looks like the Patriots are on regression city. I mean, the Patriots have won. God, I almost have to pull it. Yeah, let's pull it up, okay? This is brutal. It's terrible. I'm going to give you the stats, and I looked it up, and it was disgusting, trying to actually just kind of wrap my mind around, like, how terrible these numbers are. I'm going to pull it up because I just wrote a piece about it, and it's gosh darn disgusting, to be honest with you. It made me sick when I heard the Patriot numbers of how they've been kicking our Patuki lately, and it's brutal. It's brutal. Let me see if I can pull this up quickly. If not, oh yeah, here it is. Here it is from Bart Scott. Okay. I wrote this piece on Heavy on Jets. Here's how bad the Jets-Patriots thing has been, okay? The Patriots have won 20 of the last 22 matchups, including 12 in a row. The last time the Jets straight up defeated the Patriots in regulation without going to overtime, which, by the way, are two of their wins during the span, was during the 2011 playoffs when the Jets beat the Patriots in Foxborough. 20 of the last 22 matchups, the Patriots have beaten the Jets. 12 in a row. We've gotten our ass kicked 12 times in a row. Good Lord. Oh, man, that's when the flag is planted. If the Jets open up the season against New England Patriots and just, like, kick the crap out of them and just beat them over the head with a brick, that's when you're like, okay, that's when all this hype and pop and circumstance, that's when it becomes real. Because, again, the Patriots have been kicking the Jets Patuki for gosh darn too long. That's the win I'm looking for. That's when I'm like, booyah. That's when I'm going to come on the show and do a jig and just dance around and do all the kids dancing and all that, all the TikTok dances that all you kids are doing out there. I'll be hopping on all those as soon as that happens. But again, those numbers are disgusting. So again, the proof will be in the pudding there. Let's keep going here. Mike G. Do you see us carrying 10 defensive linemen? Who will be the odd man out? Shepard? And I know fans are going to hate this, but the Jets staff loves Nathan Shepard. I forgot what the phrase Saleh used is. Again, he just grinds. I do think we're going to carry 10 plus defensive linemen. Again, the rotation, the scheme, the defense, and then you look at all the players, start counting them up. Michael Clemons and the others, 100%. I mean, let's pull up the roster here just to give you a quick scope of the defensive linemen that are on this thing. I mean, I think it's easily going to be. I think easily going to be 10. So let's see. So we got Vinny Curry, John Franklin Myers, Bryce Huff, Carl Lawson. Let's see. I'm trying to get to so Jacob Martin, Sheldon Rankins. Wow. Solomon Thomas. So we're at 7. Quinnen Williams, obviously. So you're at 8. And then we haven't even mentioned Jermaine Johnson. Yeah, I mean it's gonna be easily 10. Let me see who else I'm missing. So yeah, and Michael Clemons. So oh my god. I mean, so you've got, and I didn't even mention some of the defensive ends instead of defensive linemen that are listed. Oh, no doubt about it. I just pulled up the roster. Oh yeah. They're carrying 10 plus. Oh yeah. Who be odd man out? Maybe it's Shepard, because you start counting it up, and he got like a 1-year deal for like nothing money. So maybe he is the odd guy out. But oh yeah, look at that talent. That's why I think a lot of people are like, Michael Clemons, what the? Yeah, and again, it just makes sense, man. Let's see. Let's go to Panama Jack. The only piece missing for this young, talented Jets team is a solid quarterback. I say draft Bryce Young from Bama or CJ Stroud from the Buckeyes in 2023. Then this team would be really scary. Panama, I just got to say this right off the get-go, because again, I don't need everyone to come on the show and say, boy, Green, you're great. Again, I love that. Help my ego like I need it. But I'm fine when people bring up, opposing viewpoints. Again, I'm a Zach Wilson guy. I believe in Zach Wilson. The Jets team believes in Zach Wilson. But let me tell you, if they were in the running for Bryce Young or CJ Stroud, which would only be possible with them being like a top 5 pick, then okay. Then you're going outside of something completely wild, like an injury. I don't even know what the situation would have to be. But there's no way in hell that the Jets should be anywhere near even thinking about Bryce Young or CJ Stroud, because they should be so bottom floor better, like outside the top 10 based on this record, that would just be bananas. And again, let's see what Zach Wilson does. Again, the no excuse thing is there. The talent around him is undeniable. It's fantastic. And again, if he can't maximize it, then the Jets, of course, will move on. But I think let's see what the kid's got before we start talking about Bryce Young and CJ Stroud and another rookie, which, by the way, a rookie would then go through those same struggles. Look at Trevor Lawrence, the second coming, apparently, of the Messiah. Okay, he didn't do that hot in Jacksonville. Now, you could question the situation, but if he's his Peyton Manning prospect, maybe he would have been able to overcome some of those things. So, again, I think we should chill a little bit on that kind of talk, to be candid. So again, Panama, I just think that's kind of a outside the box take. I don't like making fun of people on here again, because everyone can be different, but I think, and Connor Hughes mentioned this, solid quarterback play, and the Jets are really good. Superb, superstar quarterback play. Oh, now we're talking in terms of that ceiling. The talent's so good on offense. I don't think Zach Wilson, again, to quote the line from Spider-Man, you're not Superman, That's what Aunt May says to Peter Parker. And again, that I use that same thing for old Zach Wilson. You don't have to be Superman. No, just be Clark Kent. I'm fine with Clark Kent. Clark Kent in this offense is going to be pretty damn good. I'll tell you that, baby. So sign up. All right, let's go to boycott. Let's bring up the names. Bills, Patriots, Fins twice, Ravens, Browns, Bengals, Packers, Vikings, Broncos. Okay, so let's start going through these with just the ones you brought up. So Broncos. So Russell Wilson. That's imposing, but yeah, that one's tough. Okay, I'll be honest. Vikings, Kirk Cousins. You could beat him. Packers are tough, but to be honest, the Jets roster is a lot better looking than the Green Bay Packers, especially if you look on the offense side of the ball. Let's see, Browns. When are you playing? Are you playing in pre-Deshaun Watson suspension or post-Deshaun Watson suspension? Which again goes to my point that again things are going to happen naturally during the season. Lamar Jackson, I think, can be had. I think the Robert Saleh defense can be had. He's got like no weapons. Who the hell is he throwing the ball to outside of Mark Andrews? Okay, who's the guy? Who's even the receiver? I don't remember his name. Like, come on, man. Like, Fins twice. Tua can't hit the broadside of a barn. Who the hell? How are they scaring? And Patriots regressed. Bills are good, but the Jets have played them tough. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't have the schedule in front of me. But I promise you, boycott, circle back around on May 12th. What's that, Wednesday? Let's go through the schedule, and then we'll play this together. It's hard just in a hat, just to, again, because schedule is so important. Playing the Browns week 1 to playing them in week 16 is going to be pretty different, because Deshaun Watson's getting suspended in some realm. How much? How long? I don't know. But you know what? It's going to be some length of time. Why else would the Browns structure his contract in a way to minimize the penalties of fines? Because they know he's getting suspended. So if the Jets play Browns week 1, let's just say, they're probably not. But if they play week 1, Jets versus Jacoby Brissett, yeah, we're going to eat him for breakfast. Yes, sir. But again, circle back around on the schedule, boycott, and I want to do this, okay? So I love the challenge. Let's do it. We'll go through the schedule together. Panama Jack. Zach Wilson will not cut it. He holds the ball too long and his release is slow. The hold the ball too long, that's fine. And I think part of that was because the receivers weren't really getting separation, but the release is slow. I don't think I believe that at all. I've never heard those criticisms about Zach Wilson. Fine on the hold the ball too long. And he did on a couple of sacks. But again, I think part of that is like, Jesus, I got no one to throw to, sack. And some of it was him just trying to do hero ball. So there is some legitimacy to what you say, but the release slow. I haven't heard that from anywhere. Let's see. And we get a lot of Panama Jack people jumping on him in the comments. I love that. That's phenomenal. Let's go to Travis Corliss here. The reason Denzel is still a wild card for me is because Corey Davis's contract potentially can ball out and get a chance to be a starter next year. Not the most probable, but there's a chance. That is true, Travis. Denzel Mims, by the way, has 2 years left on his contract. So in theory, to your point, there is an out with minimal dead money. It's like $600,000. You can move on for Corey Davis next year. And in theory, if Denzel Mims is a guy, he could step up. Contract year, we'll see what happens. So possible, Travis. I like the optimistic thinking. Again, personally, I hope Mims stays. I would much rather keep Mims and he turn into something instead of it just being nothing and him being nada. Again, personally. All right, I see a super chat came in, so I'm going to skip around here and go all the way down. We got a lot of great comments. I'll try to get to all of them. But again, if you super chat, you guarantee that I talk to you and can answer your question. I try to get them all out there. But again, when you super chat, you guarantee it. So let's go to Manshewitz Mike here. Thank you so much for the super chat, brother. That's amazing. Thanks for supporting. 9-8 is my prediction for the season. Again, I think that's the range for me. 9-10 wins. I like it, Manshewitz Mike. 9-8, I think, is there. Again, this will be a lot more fun and easier to do when the schedule releases. Again, that comes out May 12th, and we'll get we should get, I think, the first game at 6 o'clock, the full schedule at 8 o'clock. And I'm hoping, depending on where I am, again, for those who are just joining us, I'm going to be traveling this week. So I'm going to try to get in a corner. My brother-in-law has a broadcast studio in his room. So I'm hoping, like, hey, let me just run in there. Hey, everybody, it's Boy Green. So I'm hoping to do that. We'll see. Again, it's hard to do all that, but that's what I'm hoping for. Okay, let's jump back up. Thank you so much again, Manshewitz, for the old super chat there. Again, everybody, make sure you super chat it up, and it guarantees I answer your question on here. So make sure and you support the channel. So let me try to skip back up wherever we were. Let's see. Anthony Cook, great question. Where do you think our offense will rank this season? Let me tell you, folks, as I was doing some of these numbers crunching and looking at it, okay, I have to tell you this. In terms of where they will rank this season, over two of the last 3 years, okay, they were dead last, 32 out of checks notes, 32 teams in the NFL. I mean, they were terrible, god-awful. I'm hoping for, in terms of where do I think they will be, middle of the pack. Give me 16, 18. Now, some people go, that's garbage. 16, 18, that's terrible. But you know what, to me, look at what's happened the last bunch of years. That would be phenomenal. Maybe they're way better than that. But you know what? Again, I'm going to play it slow here. I know I'm normally an aggressive guy, throw my hands around and talk with my hands. But you know what? I'm going to go 16 to 18. That's my prediction right now. Look at the offense. It's unbelievable. That would be great. Let's see. Hamza Nasserin at linebacker. Again, the Jets coaching staff loves that dude. If he could stay healthy, I think that'd be very game. That'd be very game. Hey, yo, 25. Again, Boy Green 25. For those who don't know, the 25 was my jersey number in high school as a former football player. Random fun fact. That's what we do on the show. Just boom, fun fact. Hey, yo, 25. What is your thoughts on J.C. Tretter? 100% possible, but it's weird. I think he's a good player. Obviously, he has all the connections to the NFLPA. The weird thing is the Jets didn't move on him. So if they would have liked him, you'd think they would have signed him already over Connor McGovern. Again, there's a lot of flirtation at the center position. Ryan Jensen, Tyler Linderbaum, even a little Cam Jurgens action in the draft, but they have yet to pull the trigger. So I think they're going to kind of stick with him outside of a surprise late cut that you didn't see coming, a la Morgan Moses. But I like J.C. Tretter. Think he would be a slight upgrade. But I think the Jets may go for the continuity factor here and replace Connor next offseason. I like J.C. Tretter, but again, I feel like if that would have happened, okay, I think it would have happened already, to be honest with you. Let's go to Ryan Balake. What's good, Paul? Thanks for the live stream right now. How much does the continuity in our coaching staff will help us be more of a factor in the division and in the AFC? Ryan, awesome. This was just kind of a random live stream here before I go to the movies for the first time with my daughter. She's never been to the movies. And for my beautiful fiance for Mother's Day. So we'll be taking her out to Doctor Strange. Again, no spoiler alerts, people. Be a fan of the show. Be a fan of humankind. Again, in a couple weeks, no spoilers, kind of goes off the table. But opening weekend, help a brother out. Anywho, to get to your question, I think the continuity is super important because if you look at the rest of the division, right? So the Bills lost Brian Dable, okay, their offensive mastermind. Now, the question in Bills' world is, can the Bills do it without their magician behind the scenes? I think maybe Josh Allen is so good he will be able to overcome that, but there's a question there. So continuity in question there in Buffalo. Let's go to New England. Josh McDaniels is gone. He's been running the operation for like 20 years. I know he's had a couple of stops here and there with Denver and things of that nature, but he's gone. So Mac Jones, new guy. How many squirrels does it take to screw in a light bulb? The two offensive guys that aren't even called offensive coordinators here in New England are Matt Patricia, LOL, and Joe Judge, bigger LOL. So they're in trouble. And you go to Miami, who had a weird co-offensive coordinator. Again, we just talked about how many guys does it take to screw in a light bulb. What the hell? 2 offensive coordinators. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. So, anywho, yes, continuity, Jets, 1,000%. I think Michael LaFleur really found himself in the middle of the season. I think that's only going to help itself, having a full year to analyze himself to see what's available. And plus, the improvement of weapons, I think, is going to take it to a whole nother level. And I don't think it's just offense. To your question, Ryan, I think it's defense. Second year of a system. Carl Lawson, while he didn't get the physical reps on the field, he got intimately familiar with the scheme. Quinnen Williams, second year in the scheme, and obviously all the talent, 1,000%. I think it's going to make a massive difference, quite frankly, in terms of the continuity. Let's see. Lindell's, Jay, you nailed it. If Zach progresses, we will be in the hunt. It is just that simple, to be honest with you. I think that's ultimately how you got to see it, is that in the simplistic form. Again, football is not simple, but if you want to boil it down to a simplistic way, it is if Zach progresses, you're in the hunt. If he doesn't, depending on what level he doesn't, ultimately, then you're going to be in trouble. Boycott, the Santa analogy swayed me. Thanks, Paul. I'm glad. I bring these random analogies to the table, but I'm glad every once in a while it works. But like I said, Boycott, I'm telling you, we're going to do a live stream either whether it's on Wednesday or when I get back. Either way, I promise we'll do it. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification so you'll never miss a video. Boycotting anybody, okay? YouTube.com/boygreen25. We were at 1.56K subscribers, which is unbelievable before we started this live stream. So let's keep bumping it up, baby. Raise the roof. I love it. But Boycott, I'm serious. I want you to come back for whenever that show is, and I want to go through the schedule with you. I think that'll be fun. Let's go back to Travis here. So many people scared of linebacker position when Sal and JD have only said positives about Hamza and Sherwood. I expect real playmaking out of that group. And the other thing, Travis, and again, this goes back to my Santa analogy. Again, sometimes you got to see Santa's fat ass come down the chimney before you believe. But to me, I don't need to see Santa. I'm going to give benefit of the doubt. Robert Saleh has literally cut his teeth for 20 years as a linebacker whisperer. That's his trade. That's his calling card. That's what he's been hired, rehired, and promoted all over the country in college football and the NFL for his work with linebackers. So if he believes that he can get Hamza, who is a day 3 pick, or Jamie and Sherwood, who is a day 3 pick, or a former scheme guy, Marcel Harris, who they signed for the 49ers, a safety linebacker, kind of versatile Swiss Army knife, if he believes that he could just coax that together, then I believe. And obviously he does because he hasn't. The other veteran addition you could see is Quan Alexander down the line. But besides that, I think they believe in this young group. And again, I am led to believe that he will figure it out. Again, I wanted a Kobe Dean. I wanted a Devin Lloyd, who we interviewed on the channel here. I wanted all those guys, but they obviously did not. They did not think it was as much as needed. And again, shout out to Connor Hughes, who was on that before anybody, who joined me in like February, who told us that. He said, despite what fans think, this is what the team thinks, and that's obviously true. So, again, we're going to have to see. I would love to see it. Again, they're making a transition. They both missed the entire year, so fingers crossed, but I'm really excited. I think that Hamza pick was sneaky good. Lendls, just let it be interesting by October. It's too often where we're starting literally like 1-3, 1-4, 1-5, and it's just uninteresting. To your point, Lendls, it's just terrible. Like, I just want to believe. Let me believe for as long as possible. You know, again, we keep using this weird Santa analogy, but let's go to like the Easter Bunny or something, right? Okay, fine. Spoiler alert, your parents are the Easter Bunny. I'm sorry to ruin that for any of you that are watching. But you know what? Like, you don't tell your kid that when he's 4. Maybe you tell him when he's 15 and he accidentally finds you dropping the eggs. You're like, oh, sorry, kid, that was me the whole time. Like, okay, but like, stave off that, okay? And let me believe for as long as possible. So to your point, are they going to win the Super Bowl? I don't freaking know. But you know what? Let me believe they're going to by winning, right? If they're 4-2, 5-3, whatever. The dream is alive. We're on the In the Hunt graphic. We believe. We think it's possible. When they're 1-7, it's not possible. We're like, man, it's over. Let's worry about the 2023 draft. I've had enough. As much of a draft guy as I am, Lindell's, and I am. I'm a huge draft guy. I love the draft. Maybe it's because the Jets are sucked all the time and they're always picking at the top of the draft. But either way, I love the draft. But I would love to not talk about the draft until, I don't know, the offseason. Maybe for once. I don't want to be talking about it in September. I want to look forward to the season. That's what it's all about. The season, the games, the hype, the everything. And I want that for once. Let's see here. Let's go to Rodolfo. What I really like about the Jets are all the players are young, 100%. There's a nice young core there. Very nice. Let's see. Ryan Balake. I think ZW would take a serious leap if we stay healthy to our playmakers and offensive line gels in a major way with enough key reps. Again, Mekhi Becton, his health is absolutely paramount. It is massive to this team. There's no question about it. We got celebrity in here. Jake Asman of the Jake Asman Show. Jets, the one and only Jake Asman, of course, royalty, joining us here on the show, of course. We are not worthy, Mr. Jake Asman. We are not worthy, Mr. And I can't even remember the numbers you're getting up to, like 15,000 subscribers. Good Lord have mercy. We just did a fiesta when I had 1,000. We're at 1.56K right now, a humble 1.56K. But Jake Asman, that's the statue outside of my house in the front lawn. Jake Asman, that's what we want to be. That's what we aspire to be. Jake Asman, one of the best in the business. Thank you for gracing us with your presence, my lord. Very nice. Thank you so much. And he's fantastic. If you don't know, check out the Jake Asman Show, which is phenomenal. Great guest, great commentary, live streams. Oh, he's great. I think I just saw him. Who did he do an interview with? Maybe it was Jets Today. Maybe it was Jets Media. I don't know. He's a superstar. He's everywhere. Go check him out. Jake Asman. Ryan Balake, Pats and Finch are going to regress in the open door for a wild card playoff berth. Speak it into existence. That's what we will try to do on this show, Ryan. That's what we will try to do on this program. We can only hope. Sauce going to get a pick 6 from Tua. That would be phenomenal right off the back. Let's just make it happen. That would be beautiful. That would be beautiful. I just want some picks in general, to be honest. The Jets were 31st in the league in interceptions last year. Give us 20th? 15th, maybe? I don't care. Give me some picks. Give some short fields for my quarterback. I'd appreciate it. Kev_Chata. Matt O'Leary predicted Clemons could possibly be sent to the practice squad. I find it that impossible for a 4th-round pick. Yeah, Matt O'Leary, again, another great content creator. I think he's just wrong, to be honest with you. There's no way Michael would be able to survive the practice squad, because what happens is, for those who don't know, as you trim your roster down, they have to survive waivers. So when you cut said player, they're going to survive 31 other teams potentially claiming him before you can start protecting him, and he would get claimed. Again, he is super talented. The only reason he fell is because of those weird issues, and I'm assuming his sterling personality probably rubbed a few people the wrong way as well. But again, to me, I think he's making the roster. There's no, I don't see practice squad. I'm sorry. I don't see him getting cut, which again would be that. You'd be like, hey, you're not making the team, but practice squad. No, I don't see that happening. So I think he's wrong about that. And Stephen Angle says the same thing. Drew Cabra 7. Rankin's more likely to be cut than anything. I'll tell you, that's actually not true. A big portion of his contract was guaranteed in March. If they're going to move on, they're going to move on already. I'm pretty sure he is going to be a roster lock, if you will, just in case you missed that. So just wanted to throw that out there. Let's keep rolling here again, and make sure you guys throw in those super chats on YouTube and support the channel. We'll be on for a few more minutes here as we wrap up the stream. But if you want to make sure you get your question answered, support the channel, super chat. It's available on YouTube. And also, while you're over on YouTube, like button, baby, subscribe down below for more awesome content and energy here on the show. Let's keep it going here. Oh, we got K. Newman, playoffs this year, Super Bowl in 2 years. Zach is MVP. Oh, baby. That would be exceptional. Yes, let's speak that into existence. Very nice. Kev _Chata. K, slow your roll. Let's first see coherence. We got too many rookies and players coming back from injury. Again, Kev, and I will tell everybody this as I've been about this, okay? Let the offseason be the offseason. We don't need to tamp down anyone's expectations. Now is the time to believe and hype it up and do whatever you want. And then once the season gets here, there's a sense of reality that sets in. And we will see. Maybe that reality is true, that they're playoff contenders and all these other things. So believe, everybody. 100% believe. That's my advice. Matt Morse, we have 10 new starters. Maybe that could have been why Zach struggled early as a rookie. Certainly possible. Zach has to take a little bit on himself as a rookie, but I do think that is possible. He could have just been oh, is that how it is? It is a Manichevitz. Ah, what was I calling him? Minushewitz? Sorry. I'll work on that. I'm terrible with names. Let's see. Roger Newland, our good buddy here on the show. Jets will not let Zach try and win games. Just run the ball, baby. We got Brees the Beast. Ooh, that's a good nickname. We got to get that on a t-shirt yesterday. Think he will be the difference this year and let Zach work in. Remember, the guy was a rookie. 100%. I mean, that's what they wanted to do last year. They just couldn't do it. They didn't have the horses necessary. This is going to be a run-first football team. And then, again, as guys start creeping into the box, you can attack over the top. Vertical passing game, play action. 100%, Roger, that is it. Let's see. Drupacabra here. Zach shouldn't have played right away. The system is based on perfect timing. It'll take a long time for any rookie to get it down. It's true. It is a timing-based offense, which is hard to kind of figure out. But I'll tell you this, and as you say here, Zach Wilson, again, has all the tools. Again, maybe in a perfect world, he shouldn't have been. But you know what? To me, once the genie is out of the bottle, there's no way to get his genie ass back into the bottle. So you're kind of screwed. Zach Wilson is the genie has been released. There's no way to put it back in. So now you just kind of roll with what you got. Jack Flynn, do I think that Zach Wilson is the future of the Jets? Absolutely, I do. Jack Flynn, to be honest with you, I believe he is. Again, it's the Santa thing from earlier. You either believe or you don't believe. I mean, I would understand that there was a lot of hiccups last year, which the Patriots game was disgusting, where he threw a billion picks, and it was Geno Smith-ish. Remember, red card, blue card, yellow card with Sanchez, and there's these moments where you question your faith, and trials and tribulations happen. You have to ask yourself whether or not you believe. For me, I believe, but different strokes for different folks. Okay, let's try to Jacob going to Doctor Strange right now. Okay, I will meet you there, pal. We'll be there in a little bit. Again, that movie starts at 8, so I'll be hopping off here in a few minutes to get the baby ready, and we'll all be going there. Let's keep going. Kev _China. Matt O'Leary also predicted 53-man roster won't include Mike White. I will say this. Now, I don't think this was Matt O'Leary's take. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't see the video. I think Mike White may not be on the 53, but that's because they traded him. I think that's what's going to happen here, to be honest with you. I could see this. The Jets have Zach Wilson. He's obviously going to be on the roster. You have Joe Flacco. He's obviously going to be on the roster. But again, if in this point Mike White kind of pops a little bit, you can flip him for a pick to a team that either gets injured or something. And I will tell you this. I could confirm with people I talked to. There was a market for Mike White in restricted free agency. Let me repeat that one more time. There was a market for Mike White in free agency. And again, if a team would have signed Mike White right then and there, they would have had to surrender a 5th-round draft choice. There were conversations of other NFL teams signing Mike White and thus giving the Jets a 5th-round draft choice in return. Those were real. So I'm telling you, I don't know. There's no way in my mind he gets straight up cut. I think he could get traded. So keep an eye out for that. If he pops in training camp, pops in the preseason, they will flip his ass for a pick. So remember, you heard that here first. Let's keep rolling here. Let's see. Mike G, thoughts on signing Foles and trading White or Flacco? Not going to happen. Obviously Joe Douglas has a good relationship with Foles, but they signed Flacco. They love Flacco inside the building. There is a chance for White to be traded, as I just mentioned, but not for Foles as well to be a third string again like he was with Chicago. He will find a different landing spot. Probably Indianapolis would be my guess with Frank Wright to match him back up there and be the guy behind Matt Ryan. I could see that. Let's see. Ooh, this is a good one. Jets fan for life. Paul, who is your all-time favorite Jets player? Oh my gosh. That's a great question. There's so many. Lavernius Coles is one of the first ones I think of. He was one of my absolute favorites. Jericho Cotchery. one of my favorites. Revis, of course, I loved Revis. David Harris, Brick, DeBrickashaw Ferguson, who I got to meet. I'll tell that story another time. We don't have enough time for me to retell that story about how I met Brick, and it was pretty cool. Those are a couple. I will tell you, like short term, like favorite, just overall NFL players, and he played for our team for a short bit. It was a notable run. LaDainian Tomlinson. For those who don't know, again, the Boy Green 2-5 handle that you see everywhere. That 2-5 is from my jersey number in high school, and I was a running back, and I idolized LaDainian Tomlinson, and those were back in the great days, of course, of his Chargers run, and he joined the Jets, and I thought it was the coolest thing since sliced bread, one of my favorite players to then join the Jets, and he's in the infamous, Hall of Famers that had, cups of coffee with the Jets, like Jason Taylor, Braylon Edwards, not even like, they're not all Hall of Famers, but you get it, like the guys that had like mini runs. Braylon Edwards actually a bad example, but like Ronnie Lott, played for the Jets. Jason Taylor played for the Jets. LaDainian Tomlinson played for the Jets for a short time. Like all those, Plaxico Burress is another one. Like these guys that are like, whoa, big name, and they play for the Jets for a small bit. So he didn't play for a very long time, but LaDainian and Curtis Martin, of course, obviously would be on that list. But if I had to pick just kind of a few, like short-term guys, even though they didn't play a long time, LaDainian Tomlinson, of course, I love LT. And then like long-range guys like Jericho Cotchery and Lavernius Coles are probably my guys. That's a great question. I don't get asked those kind of questions on the live show often. Let's see. I'll do a couple quickies here. How many yards does Garrett get as a rookie? I think he's probably in that 900 range. I'm not sure quite 1,000, somewhere in the 800-900 range. I mean, it's a chance for 1,000, of course. I think Elijah's the one that breaks 1,000. Let's see. Ryan Blockhead. Can we agree that Garrett Wilson should wear number 5 so we can call him G5 as a nickname? That's easy money for marketing and sponsors. Thoughts? I know he has the G-Dub nickname, so G5 would be a cool one too. We'll see if Mike White's willing to give it up. Maybe he is. I don't think it's 17, though. I mean, 17 I love. Braylon Edwards, Plaxico, and just 17 in general is a great wide receiver number, but I'm not sure. Why are people talking about cutting Mike White? Joe Campione? No idea. Apparently, Matt O'Leary predicted that in his 53, but that's not going to happen. Let's see. There are a lot of trolls in this chat. It does appear that way. Let's see. I'm getting a lot of different sites things, so sorry about that. Let's see. Yeah, a lot of bots in here. I apologize for those. Jets 4-2, Jake Asman or Jake Titman. I see what you did there. Very nice. Yes. Let's see. Yeah, I hate the bots in here, so they scatter. Sorry about that. Let's see. I'm going to try to get a few quickies in here. We got Roland. Yo, Boy Green, just subscribed to your channel. Saw you doing the circuit with other YouTubers. Can you have more energy in your show? Sarcasm. I will tell you, it's funny. Like, I have this awesome camera. Again, my fiance got me that when she kind of invested and believed in me. But I had a mic, and like my voice is so all the time. It's like blowing over the mic. I hear that on YouTube channels, and I get a couple of questions about that. So again, I apparently need to get an even better mic to be able to absorb the wide range of the voice. And again, guys, it's just who I am. When people come in and they see the crazy voices and the hands and all that, that's just who I am. So I don't have to fake it. That makes it easy just to be who I am. And Roland, thank you so much for the subscription. And anyone out there, if you haven't subscribed yet to the YouTube channel, whether you're watching this live right now or after the fact, please hit that subscribe button and like the video. We have so much cool content, and you can check it out. We have one of the best draft off seasons of all time with all kinds of cool guests: Connor Hughes, Connor Rogers, Trevor Sikkema, Devin Lloyd joined us, Damian Woody. We had superstars all over the ball yard, and it was a lot of fun. So, guys, join the family, baby. Let's go a couple quickies here before we get out. Let's see. Kareem, any possibility of Jacob Martin moving to linebacker? I see the questions, and I see on the Jets roster he's listed that way, but no. I think Jacob Martin will be a defensive lineman. He will be a pass rusher, but I get it. Not in this 4-3 scheme. I don't envision that. Phenom, you rock, Boy Green. My take is that offensive line is the key. Zach is only as good as the line plays. That's also true. So we got to see if that indeed happens. Health stays there, and Zach Wilson will have that line in front of him. But I will say this. I love that they built a wall, and then they built another wall, and they built another wall. So you got the starters. You got guys like Nate Herbig and stuff, and you keep having that depth. So major credit to Mr. Joe Douglas. for that. Let's go to the Bean Apple Football Show, which, by the way, I've been on a few times. So what's happening, guys? You got to love the stronger Zach with a massive upgrade at every offensive position. This team's getting ready to take off, brother. No question. And I can't remember if I got to this earlier in the show, so I'll circle back to this. Zach Wilson is looking, as Robert Saleh says, beefy. I wrote a story about it and just talk about great timing. Will Parkinson, who's an NFL analyst, I definitely did not talk about this on the show, and that's part of the headline. So slap myself on the wrist for that, for kind of getting lost and off track like a raccoon with a shiny object. But Zach Wilson looking beefy. He's jacked up. He's ripped. And boy, what a transformation from last year. It's like the trash commercials, right? Wimpy, hefty. That's what Zach Wilson is. It was wimpy, BYU. And then booyah, he's all jacked up. He's beefed up. He's juiced. He's got the muscles. You can see it in the leg definition, but kind of overall. Robert Saleh talked about that beefiness that you see with Zach Wilson. I love it because while Zach Wilson kind of checked off a lot of boxes this offseason, again, he obviously juiced up, maintained the flexibility, but added some more Brutus beefcake to that frame, which you love. And of course, he traveled around the country working out with teammates. And as I wrote my story, it's cool that he beefed up. It's cool that he worked out with teammates, but we all know that doesn't guarantee diddly crap. Him beefing up doesn't guarantee you won't get injured. Him working out with teammates and increasing chemistry doesn't guarantee that they'll always be on the same page. But the thing that I like, Mr. Bean Apple Football Show, is this. I love that Zach Wilson is going out of his way to do everything in his gosh darn power to be the best possible guy he can be. And that's all you can hope for during the offseason. Now, some people didn't care. They're like, whatever, that's what he's supposed to do. Well, you know what? I much rather enjoy reading about this than seeing him in the headlines for doing something scandalous or eating Twinkies on the couch. Okay? I love what he's bringing to the table. So, Bean Apple Football Show, absolutely. A couple final questions here. A couple other favorites. Ed Reed is another one. Jeremy Curley is another favorite. Let's see. Zach will be top 10 quarterback this year, 30 touchdowns, 3,500 yards. Again, I would love to see him again. This is too crazy, but I would love to see 4,000 yards. That would be amazing. That has only happened once in history, and it was the first quarterback to ever do it, Joe Namath. I would love to see a quarterback finally break that, and that's just embarrassing because it's been a quarterback-driven league. As Daryl said, hit that like button, baby. Boom, 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 boom. And 100%. So people, this is also, I don't understand. We have over 100 people in here right now that are watching on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. If you haven't liked the video, open up a tab on YouTube, or if you're watching right now on YouTube, hit that like button. If we have over 100 people in here, we should have over 100 likes. All of you should like the video. Unless you just hate my guts, of course. Then can you give me a pity like for Pete's sake? Or something for stopping by? It's like watching a concert, not tipping. Like, what gives? Come on, give a thumbs up. Help a brother out. I'm like on the streets, the hobo streets. Can a brother get a thumbs up? Please. A thumbs up change, if you will. Like, come on, people. Give me a thumbs up for Pete's sake. Show some love. Let's see. Ray Ferraro, that's a great point. People better look out. Zonovan Knight, baby. I mentioned it earlier. Zonovan Knight. Okay, make sure you show the love. Zonovan Knight, I think he's going to make the roster. Let's see. Let's go a couple more here before you sign off. Okay, this will be the last question. Jet42. Zach Wilson is now a beefcake with all the fixins. Do you see him running more now? I'll just say this. It's kind of weird, but it's weird that, like, when players kind of admit this, Zach Wilson actually is not a fan of running. Now, I just want to take the green grass ahead of him. I don't want them to use him like Josh Allen or any of these other guys because that opens the door for injuries. But I just have to say, in general, like, he needs to take the green grass in front of him. He did that a couple of times. Look at that Jaguars. Whoop, 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 whoop. Touchdown. That was one of the best plays of the year. So that was awesome. But you know, I just want him to selectively run. Don't go crazy. And he said he doesn't want to take the extra hit. So, I mean, he's just blunt. He's just obviously talking about it. So, again, running a little bit more. Take the grass in front of you. That's how I operate. Okay, I'll get a few quick questions in here. Then we got to sign off. I got to go to the movies with the fiance before she kills me. Paul Christensen, Namath did it with a 14-game schedule. Again, he was the first quarterback ever in NFL history to throw for 4,000 yards. And to your point, Paul, he did it in 14 games. Unbelievable. So there's a bit of history. If you hear that pub night, who's the first quarterback in NFL history to throw for 4,000 yards? Joe Namath is the first one to do it. Also, no quarterback has done it since. There's been 16 games. There were 17 games last year. No Jets quarterback has thrown for 4,000 yards. The only one who got close was Ryan Fitzpatrick in 2015, who had like 3,900 yards and change. but there's been one 4,000-yard passer. Hell, there's been 9 or 10 5,000-yard passers in NFL history. What the hell? So hopefully Zach Wilson can change that sooner rather than later. And the Bean Apple Football Show will have the final comment on this show. Paul, we were discussing on Twitter, what do you think Mims does this year? I hope he's on the roster. It seems tough to believe because, again, he has played 0 special team snaps in his career through his first 2 years. That normally is a prerequisite for a wide receiver 5 or 6. Again, there are exceptions to all rules, but does Denzel Mims sounds like the guy that there would be an exception for? I don't know. Again, there's been coaching issues, rifts. That doesn't sound like the kind of guy they're going to go out of their way for, okay? Out of their way for to make that happen. That doesn't seem like something for me. Again, I hope I'm wrong. Obviously, I wanted to be on the team. He's a former second-round pick, but we can only hope for the best. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us on this random Sunday live stream. Again, happy Mother's Day to all the beautiful women in all of your lives and the ones that may have stopped by to watch this show. We appreciate you. Without you guys, we wouldn't be here. And again, one more shout-out to my beautiful fiance for her first Mother's Day, and we're going to go celebrate it. We're going to go to the movies, check out Doctor Strange, and it should be a lot of fun. Guys, thank you so much for hopping on with us. We'll try to be back on Wednesday for the Jet Zone. I believe that's the schedule release on Wednesday, so we may do a later version. Normally that's an afternoon podcast. We may wait till the evening to do a live show with all of you guys. Stay tuned to my social media, and we'll see you then. Thanks for the support, and again, if you haven't already, like the video and hit subscribe for more great New York Jets content and live streams just like this. Thanks, everybody, and